Caffeine. It is the most widely used stimulant in the world, and in pre-workout supplements, it is almost always the foundation everything else is built around. It works by blocking adenosine receptors in the brain. Adenosine is a chemical that builds up over the course of the day and makes you feel tired. So when caffeine blocks those receptors, that fatigue signal never gets through. Think of it like putting a piece of tape over the low fuel warning light in your car. The tank is still the same, but you stop noticing. The result is increased alertness, faster reaction time, and a stronger drive to push through hard training. Most pre-workouts contain somewhere between 150 and 400 milligrams per serving. The form matters too. Anhydrous caffeine hits fast, like flipping a light switch. Other forms, like dicaffeine malate, release more gradually, more like slowly turning up a dimmer, which also means a gentler come down afterward. But caffeine is only the beginning. Later in the video, we'll get to one ingredient that became so strong it was eventually banned: beta-alanine. This is the ingredient responsible for the tingling sensation many people feel shortly after taking pre-workout. That sensation, called paresthesia, is harmless, but surprises a lot of first-time users. First-timers often check their phone thinking something is vibrating. Beta-alanine is a non-essential amino acid that combines with histidine inside the muscle to form carnosine, which acts as a buffer against the acid that builds up during intense exercise. Think of carnosine as a tiny fire extinguisher inside the muscle, buying you a few extra seconds before everything starts burning. The benefit is most noticeable during high-rep training or any effort lasting roughly 1 to 4 minutes. It takes consistent daily use over several weeks to fully saturate the muscles, so it works more like a long-term investment than an immediate boost. Citrulline. This amino acid is derived from watermelon, where it was first isolated, and it has become one of the most common pump-focused ingredients in modern pre-workouts. The body converts citrulline into arginine, which then gets converted into nitric oxide, a compound that causes blood vessels to relax and widen. If your veins were a highway, nitric oxide is what removes the traffic cones and opens up the extra lanes. That improved circulation gives the sensation of a fuller, tighter pump during training. And it also means more oxygen and nutrients reaching the muscle during effort. Citrulline malate is the most common form found in supplements. Research generally points to around 6 to 8 grams as the effective dose for meaningful performance benefits. L-arginine. For many years before citrulline became popular, arginine was the ingredient most brands used to target nitric oxide production and blood flow. It is an amino acid the body can produce on its own, but the assumption was that supplementing with more would mean more nitric oxide. The problem is that arginine is poorly absorbed when taken orally, and much of it gets broken down in the gut before reaching the bloodstream. It is a bit like trying to mail a letter that keeps getting lost at the post office before it ever arrives. That is precisely why citrulline eventually displaced it as the preferred option, since citrulline takes a different route and actually gets through. Arginine is still included in many formulas, often alongside citrulline, with the idea that hitting the same pathway from 2 directions produces a stronger combined effect. Taurine. This sulfur-containing amino acid is found in high concentrations in the brain, heart, and skeletal muscle. Despite being called an amino acid, it is not used to build proteins. Instead, it plays a regulatory role in cellular function, including electrolyte balance and nervous system activity. In pre-workout formulas, it is often included to take the edge off high stimulant doses, acting like a responsible friend who quietly makes sure nobody at the party gets too out of hand. It reduces the jitteriness or anxiety that heavy caffeine can cause in some people, supports muscle contraction efficiency, and may reduce exercise-induced muscle damage. It is one of the quieter ingredients in a formula, but its contribution to the overall feel becomes noticeable when it is absent. Tyrosine. The brain under stress including the stress of hard training, tends to burn through certain neurotransmitters quickly. Tyrosine is an amino acid the body uses as raw material to produce dopamine, norepinephrine, and adrenaline. Without enough of it, the brain starts running low on the chemicals it needs to stay sharp. A bit like trying to keep a fire going when someone keeps forgetting to add wood. Supplementing with tyrosine is intended to keep that production running smoothly under demanding conditions. The benefit is mainly cognitive, with users often reporting better focus and mental staying power during prolonged or exhausting effort. It works quietly in the background, supporting the mental side of performance rather than the muscular side. DMAA. This synthetic stimulant showed up in supplements around 2006, marketed as natural geranium extract, a claim that turned out to be basically fabricated. It works by flooding your system with dopamine and noradrenaline while blocking their reuptake, creating an intense, long-lasting surge of drive. If caffeine is a strong coffee, DMAA is grabbing the live wires behind the wall socket. After links to heart attacks, strokes, and deaths, including military cases, the FDA cracked down hard, and it's now banned in many countries and gone from mainstream shelves, though it still pops up in grey market products. DMHA, also called octodrine. This one was actually studied back in the 1940s as a decongestant, before resurfacing as DMAA's replacement once regulators started cracking down on it. Think of it as DMAA's louder, more reckless cousin. Same family, same habits, just turned up a notch. Structurally, it's just one molecule away from amphetamine, and many users rate it stronger than DMAA. It triggers a similar dopamine/noradrenaline surge, intense focus, stimulation, and training that suddenly feels effortless. The FDA says it doesn't qualify as a legal ingredient, and warning letters have followed. It got banned.